Good evening. How's everyone doing? Caught me. I was writing. I was jotting down a bunch of stuff on a notepad while the video was playing there. Good evening. Hello, Laura, Celine, Anna, Patricia, Jennifer. How's everyone doing? Dana, how are you? Good to see everyone. Wednesday. I know it's been a while, but we were busy. Hey, Deb, how are you? Hope all is well. We were we thought we were going to have a weekend. Hey, Kathy, how are you? Thought we were going to have a weekend with doing nothing this week. Hey, Heather, Karen, how are you? Chris, Brian, Raleigh, how you doing? Karen, Cheryl, I'm waiting for the princess to make her entrance. You know, she can't. There, it seems a habit of New Jersey Paranormal team members to come on later. It happens at events too, where you'll see John ready to go right on time, starting an event, and then the rest not so much.
She needs her coffee.
So, there finally.
He said
making an entrance
a
as
few
always.
minutes before we're going live. Be
making
ready.
An entrance.
So she made her cup of coffee.
Hello, Kathy. How are you? So yeah, I gotta change the lens on my.
You should always be ready for your show.
It's cracked. I gotta change that. Hello, Liz. How are you? Anyway, what was to be a Memorial weekend doing nothing.
And that went out the window.
Didn't turn out to be that. Do we do anything Friday? Friday we didn't.
Yeah, we did.
What do we do on Friday?
Creeper.
Friday?
We were at the Creeper Gallery Friday.
Were we really?
Yes, we did.
Yes, we were.
Yes, we were. And we investigated the girl that got hit by the
Yes,
van,
we did.
the dress, and then the doll of the young girl that drank the poison Kool-Aid from James.
You're right.
James
We did. Definitely did. Now that I didn't think that was Friday though. I don't know why I didn't think
it was
yeah,
Friday.
You're right, because we did. We went right back up there on Sunday. But hey Joyce, we went there on Friday. Did the investigation, and we planned on coming back Sunday because we hadn't seen Donna in a while. We talked about that on the ride home from the Creeper Gallery.
And we filmed Thursday. Didn't we go up to? Which day did we go up to the?
Saturday.
That's right. It was Saturday.
But again, please don't jump ahead. Okay, just sit back in the passenger seat.
I know. Let me let you do your role.
You know.
Yes, and I'll jump on when we get to the stop.
You want to take everything in the first 2 minutes, but
I'll jump on when we get to the stop sign.
Some of us want to.
I hear you.
You know, tell the story in a logical progression.
Not I.
No, you want to say
random.
Went here, went there. Okay, what's it? 8:05. Show over.
We're done.
Then you literally showed up at 8:02 when you're telling the whole story by 8:03. Anyway, so we did Saturday night. We originally were going to do the mine tours, ghost walk, whatever you want to call it, on the 24th and the 31st. But there was a scheduling issue with the mine, and we couldn't do the 24th. So
I was grateful.
Okay.
I was, because I just like, we've got so much going on. We literally are sitting at the Paracon, and he turns to me and he says, we're going to do tours. And I'm like, this was supposed to be our time off after to recoup. And he goes, no, we're going to do this. And I'm just like, I thought we were going to get a minute to like, you know, breathe.
Okay, so Saturday you could have said no, and you didn't. Thank you. Anyway.
I don't think that word is allowed in your vocabulary.
Oh, okay. Yeah, right. I didn't ask you.
About the tours? You
just told me about going up there Saturday to investigate.
Oh yeah, I'm talking about when you told me at the Paracon that we were going to do the tours, and I was like, we are, like, for both weekends in a row.
We're not going to get past this.
So like
20 minutes.
I wasn't talking about when we ended up going back up because I understood why we needed to, and I was going to do that.
You can't, others can. It's plain and it's that
You
simple.
heard it here.
All right.
Any
Hey,
volunteers?
I don't need volunteers. I got other team members. All right.
Okay.
Anyway, uh, you know, the world does not rest. Thank you, John McGinnis. John McGinnis knows. He knows. He knows all.
Yeah, well, this old bones does need to
This
rest.
old bones.
Yes, this old bone needs a rest.
Hey, Taryn, how are you? This old bones needs to rest,
Needs
people.
to rest.
My people.
Needs to lay it down once in a while and just close out the world.
Hey, David.
Yes.
Anyway, let me try to get past the ghost walk conversation that seems to have dragged on for a while. So Saturday night, we really weren't planning on doing anything. Hello, Luann. Good to see you. And
Patricia.
hey, Nicole. And Danielle had volunteered to help with the ghost walk, but apparently Chris didn't tell her that we weren't doing them on.
Oh,
this
that was on me.
What?
That was on me.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Good to know.
Okay.
We
Hey,
see
Patricia.
how this falls out, right?
So anyway, so Danielle was like, oh, I was looking forward to. I was going to head up there. Hey, George, and but I won't do it now. So
Hey, Kathy.
hey, Kathy. So Chris was like, do you still want to go over there and just mess around and investigate? And I was like, well, okay. So we drive all the way up there, and we were in there for like 3 hours. So we got some good EVPs, but again, there was after a rain, there's a lot of water in that mine and a lot of water drips, and it makes the EVPs a little harder to do. You got to listen between the drops.
Yeah, it was pretty. There were a lot of puddles and stuff, so it's not just the water's hitting the stone or the hard ground. It's actually hitting other puddles, which is ricocheting and making that sound really carry. So it was difficult.
But we went up there and we had a good time and didn't get home till late. Had to get up early Sunday. And
Hey, Heather.
what did we do on Sunday? I know Monday, Memorial Day, we
went to Creeper.
Sunday, that's right. We went to the Creeper on Sunday, which was fun. I mean, I had a good time. Even though I was tired, I had a really good time.
We did.
And we hung out with some good people. We talked about that on the way home.
Mm-hmm. Taryn said she got an awesome side from the mine.
Yeah, we covered the whole Creeper Gallery thing. We hung out with good people, had a good time.
Yeah.
A lot of people were there. I didn't bring up, I mentioned everybody who was there, but Veronica. Veronica was there with her husband and her son. Great to meet them as well. But so then I get a text on Memorial Day, Monday morning, and no, the number wasn't. The number wasn't any. Am I hiding my facial expressions? Well, people say I have a hard time doing that. I'm trying to get better at that. I'm trying to just act like it doesn't faze me. Like so I just let it roll off when people just rudely interrupt me. I'm really trying to work on that, but I'll get better. Anyway, I get a text from an unknown number to me that says, "Are you doing any public ghost hunts tonight or tomorrow night?" Now this is Monday, Memorial Day, and I'm thinking to myself, like, who is this? Didn't recognize the number. It wasn't programmed in my phone or anything. And I said, well, we're not planning on anything, but who is this? Turns out a family from Utah. I guess are in town.
Yeah, they just gotten off a cruise
for the week. Meaning they're in town.
Yeah.
And they were looking for a ghost hunt. So we were already planning on barbecuing with our friends, the Raleighs. And but again, when it comes to the mine, we work with them, we raise money for them. So, the opportunity was there to do that. And for these people who really wanted to do this, so we went to the Raleighs, had our barbecue for a couple of hours, had a great time. Always have a great time juggling with Brian and Ann and Taylor and being around the whole family, great family. And then we had to leave there and go straight to the mine again and do a 4 hour ghost hunt for a family. And again, didn't finish there till
Late.
11 o'clock. Go to the quick check. Now I'm like exhausted. And we're sitting at the quick check and talking. And I'm like zoning out because I'm so tired. And it was like, no more paranormal for a little while. I mean, we were we were originally scheduled to investigate a new building
Yeah.
tonight. I was kind of happy that that kind of didn't go through because it would have just been bam, 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 bam. And then we have the ghost walk coming this weekend, which a lot of people want to go to. I mean, I'm still
great.
getting requests.
It's great. It's
So
fantastic.
we're going to be doing more of those, like I said, throughout the fall and the summer. And it's great that people want to do that. Again, they're shorter. They're only an hour and a half. We cover as much of the mine as we can. Turn the lights off. We have the equipment. You know, it's not your average normal. We've been on ghost walks in the past. Gettysburg, I mean, in other places, they have their lantern. They take you in front of a building. They point at it. They tell you a story. You stand there. You move on to the next building. They tell you a story. And that's about the extent of it. They're pretty cool,
Yeah.
some of them. But we decided we didn't want to do it that way. We wanted to add the paranormal stuff into the mix. So we decided to do it a little different. And we do. And it's a good time. It's just a little taste of what we do, um, on the ghost hunt. How did the family like them? They liked the mine. They did like the mine. I mean,
They
again,
had an impressive daughter, Anna.
oh God, 11 years old.
She got me happy hands down, man. She's got cojones, that girl. I was so impressed with her. Uh, she would go do the experiment. She'd stand up on her own. She literally did the because John was down that the office bottom room, and for all of you guys that have been there, there's a hatch in that closet that leads down to this dark dirt ground where they think it's like something's buried down there or someone. And he said something about dangling your legs, and all of them looked at John like it was out of his mind. And Anna's sitting at the table, and I said, "You want to do it?" And she goes, "Can I?"
There was
did
nothing
it.
she didn't volunteer for. 11 years
No.
old. That's what gets me. And we had this conversation with the family because they were a family. I mean, there were, they said our kids, we said, hey, you're their parents. You're going to know what's right for them. And if things get weird, you're going to know to move them or whatever. So if you're with them and you're cool with it, then we're cool with
It
it.
seemed to be the older ones bunched together, and
But
Anna was just like
Anna
right in it.
Anna reminded me of Samantha when we met her at 11.
Yeah.
Just a daredevil, willing to do anything and try
Smart
anything.
girl.
And
Smart.
I always laugh because when you do an EVP session in a group, and most people like adults, if you're doing and there's 5 people asking questions and someone asks your question, you just kind of like, dang it, in your head you go like, dang it, and you think of another question. But Anne, being 11, it's like, oh, you just asked my question.
She did too.
To her mom, she was all mad at her mom for asking her question.
And she had no. I mean, okay. John will be the first one to tell you. When I first started doing this with him, I wouldn't even ask questions in front of him. I would go off and do my own recordings and ask, and he was so frustrated because I wasn't comfortable with saying things out loud. Like, it sounded weird to me. I didn't like doing that. That was uncomfortable for me, and I didn't like hearing my voice back. It still freaks me out. But there was no hesitation on this young girl's part. And then at the end of the night, I needed to know why. I said as they're leaving, why us? Why did you reach out to us and ask to do it? And the mom said, everything else was closed. And then Anna goes, I Googled it and I found you guys. And basically we said yes.
Well, that makes it sound real impressive. Like people are searching us out. And
It's because she got to pick what they were going to do. And she picked a paranormal ghost hunt. And then she Googled and she found us. And John responded because she pointed out to her dad. And he reached out to John. And that's how this 11-year-old girl who impressed us was the one that made that happen. I think that's impressive. I wouldn't have done that 11 years old.
Whew, boy. Anyway,
Keeping your face on, aren't you?
I'm trying. You don't make it easy. But anyway, that was fun. It was a good time. Uh, Liz, you asked about your 10-year-old. Here's the thing, and I'm not saying this in a mean way. I'm saying this in a way that um, kind of speaking for the whole group of people that are going to be there. If your child can handle that, and Anna could. Anna at 11 surprised me. The lights out, none of it bothered her. She was fine.
Yeah.
But if it goes the other way and your child can handle it and they're talking all the time and they're scared and they want to leave, well then it becomes a situation where not saying that it'll happen for you, but then you're ruining it for the rest of the people that are there. That's when it becomes an issue for not just you. It becomes an issue for us as well because other people have paid to go on that same walk. That's why we tell people, your children,
Yeah.
and you're responsible for your children. If they're going to be disruptive and they're going to take away from everyone else's experiences, because I don't know if I can handle being in a dark mine at 10 years old myself.
And
I'm just saying that.
And I'm going to take it a step further and kind of explain where John's coming from.
Oh yes, please do, because I wasn't clear.
No. Okay, Snappy Pappy. So two instances where somebody brought children to the events. The little boy freaked out, and we thought the mother was taking him home, and turned out that she put him in a car and left him in the car all night. Which that's a no for us. That's not appropriate. And the other thing that happened was a woman brought her child, even though she knew that you're not supposed to a regular ghost event, the 4-hour. We were in the mine. The child got cold. He got very intimidated, and he was young. He was really young, and we expressed how we felt about it. And no, he's fine. This is his thing. And she also turned around, instead of leaving, put him in a truck and left him there for the night. And again, he was scared already. He's put in a vehicle up in the mountain where there's nobody around. Everybody's in the mine. So those are things that we really worry about. We worry about the well-being of the children. If they can handle it and there's no issues, then we're fine with it.
Yeah,
as far as the tours.
Yeah, the tours, not the ghost hunts. But
yeah, we
tours,
never let children on the events.
But again, I always put myself in the position of the people that are attending and paying for it. I mean, I've done things and been on things where, I've been in movie theaters watching horror movies where people have brought babies, and they're screaming and crying the whole entire time while I'm trying to watch Jason kill some teenager at the camp.
Oh my God.
And ruining my experience.
Their little
so
girl
selfish.
had her, she didn't even know me. We were sitting next to him, and the little girl had her face buried into my arm. I was like, I felt so bad for her. But no.
It's again, we kind of know that your kids better than we do.
Yeah.
So for the ghost walks, it's a little different. But we don't hide anything. We turn the lights off. We're in the dark.
And it's damp. It's 56 degrees. We remind you that wearing, make sure that you wear comfortable shoes in there if you're going to bring them in there. So we had somebody that came in with some very expensive boots that they were wearing through the mine. And we said, you may not want to wear those in there. I'm just saying. I know you're looking at me like I'm a crazy cuckoo.
Because we're talking about one thing, and
you're
going in a totally different direction. You're going into the conditions of the mind.
I'm just saying. Jacket.
Oh. Hey, Donna.
Hey, Donna.
How are you? Oh, boy. It's going to be a rough one. Strap in for this one.
Strap in.
I would take 100% responsibility.
Cool.
No, it's important for me that everyone has a good experience. And I would, again, I put myself in the position of the people who are there, and trying to have a good time, and some poor little kid is like scared out of their wits, and they're talking, and they're, hey, because that's what happened. That one kid was just like, mom, mom, he's holding on to her, and it was just like so uncomfortable for us
Yeah, couldn't
and
do
the rest of the
EVPs, couldn't
people
do.
in the group.
Yeah.
And it was just like, what's going on here? You
Good
should,
night, Ann.
you shouldn't really have
Hmm.
him in here. He can't handle. Like if that was my son, I'd be like, come on, we're leaving. Hey, Matt,
Hey.
how are you? So anyway, that's what we're doing with the ghost walks. We enjoy doing them. Um, probably over the summer on out some weeks, and the fall some weeks as well. It's fun to be able to do them with with families and people of different ages as opposed to the ghost hunts. Do you do youth ghost hunt events? We do the Girl Scout ghost hunts. I
Yeah.
would consider them. They're
Yeah.
anywhere from 11 to like 16.
Yep.
So yeah, we do at least two of those a year, and same thing. They're chaperoned. They have chaperones with them, and um, we've had a few issues. Not anybody running and screaming and scared, but holding on to each other. Like
Yeah.
you could tell some of them don't want to be there, and they did it because their
But
friends
they
were
have
doing it.
chaperones. That there was one girl that did that, she really wasn't into it. Her mom talked her into it, and
She was scared
she was. and
witless. I don't
and
want to say another word, but
and the chaperone actually removed her from the event, but the chaperone took this person home. They're set for that. They have it.
yeah.
They're
But then we
ready
had
for
another
that.
instance where the mother wanted to do it way more and
I
dragged her daughter into
dragged
it,
her
and
daughter
the
into
daughter
it.
wanted no part of it because she
No.
was scared,
Yep.
and mom was having a great old
Oh,
time
she was.
doing it, which was very.
But the daughter wasn't disruptive. She was just scared out of her
At least for that
mind.
one, we got paid with some slices of pizza and some Girl Scout cookies.
Yeah, that was cool.
That's about as far off the nonprofit scale as we get. We work for food, which is fun sometimes, you know. But we're doing the Ghost Walk this week, and then again on the 14th, the wedding's coming up, literally right around the corner. Now we are home stretch, man. We're going to get our marriage license on June 3rd, but we're applying for it. It takes 72 hours. So we're going down to get our marriage license, and then the 14th is the big day.
Oh, it's that the 7th is Liberty Hall.
Oh yeah, that's already sold out. I
Yeah.
can't wait to get back there. It seems like a long time
It
since we've
feels
been
like
there.
it's been an eternity since we've been back
I
there.
love that building, man. I do. I love that building, and I love the carriage house. I've always enjoyed being in that building. Carriage house more so. I used to get a lot of activity back in the old days in Captain John on the second floor, and then not so much anymore. And I get more activity in the attic and the carriage house. The attic has a really weird vibe because all the old
I get.
Kane toys are up there in that room. I swear, if they ever want to film a horror movie and they
It
ask
would be
me,
right there.
go in that room and film that room. Film it from outside because it's in a hallway, and then film it from inside. Just that table with all the creepy dolls sitting around it, and then there's the old creepy rocking horse. Oh,
It's creepy up there. But I had the experience of the dining room. Nobody had ever investigated the dining room. You know, the one that goes right into their private library in the back
yeah.
there. I got to do it one time, and some very unexpected things happened in that, and information came forth of stuff we didn't know. And then I do like the second floor, but not Captain John's room. Captain John does not like me in his room. There's something about me that he does not like me in his room, and I try to respect that. I have other, I stay out in the hall, like right at the doorway, and have people go in and do it from the doorway because he gets very upset with me in there.
Good night, Celine.
But good night, Celine. But I I love Stuart's bedroom. I get a lot of activity, which is the toy room now.
Hey, there's families. It's a family show.
Well, the funny thing is, he was the playboy of the family. He loved the girls. He used to sneak them up the back stairs over there to his back room. So it's funny. The women get a lot of interaction with Stuart in his room, and it's usually, and activity comes down from that hall where we hear voices. So I love that. I love that area.
But again, Liberty Hall is another one of those buildings where I just enjoy going there. and the carriage house usually never lets me down. And that attic was really, really cool. Last time we were there, that's when we did the school thing. That was another thing we did with kids. We
We
did
did.
it was like an art class or something. What was it? Theater class? I
No,
can't
it
remember.
was it yeah, it was their field trip, right?
Yeah.
They were part of some club.
Funny you mentioned that, Heather. I was contacted by Liberty Hall, Burlington Prison. We, I'm going to go over this again really, really quick. When we do events, because we're 501 and we're nonprofit, everything we do goes to benefit the building, somebody. And we're the probably one of the few groups that go into the Burlington Prison for the Burlington County Historic Society. A lot of people will pay the county. You can pay to go investigate there if you want to. You go on the
Yeah.
county website, you can pay whatever it is, and then people charge on top of that so they not only get the fee, but they make money. Everything that we do there goes towards the Historic Society. And we're really good friends with the woman Janet, who's been really good to us and been a good friend, and Brenda, who's there as well. So they literally just reached out to me 2 weeks ago, and we're trying to figure out a date for Burlington Prison as well. So the thing about Burlington Prison is you in the believe it or not, in the winter they turn the heat up in there and it's warm, and in the summer, ooh wee, it's really hot there in the summer. I've been in that building and sweat, you know. So I mean, trying to find that
Finding the
sweet
right
spot.
sweet spot,
Yeah,
yeah.
we did it in the winter too. I mean, we did it in the dead of
Ooh,
winter.
but you didn't feel it unless
But
you're
upstairs
outside.
was hot.
Yeah, the heaters like really.
Yeah.
But that also is because Kenny goes out in the winter and he likes still doing the
I ain't going out there.
where they hang people. So
I
that
told
cold
you.
air that comes through that
My
door.
I'm gonna get a T-shirt, and it's been my motto for years. And if it ain't heated, it ain't haunted. I ain't going out in no cold looking for
That's
spirits.
because we did that 300-year-old
That ain't
farmhouse, and
happening.
that had no. And we would. It was so
I've done that
funny.
more than once.
We would
more than one
we'd
location.
investigate for about 50-20 minutes for as long as we could. In dead of winter, ice cold, brutal. I mean, you felt your hands were so cold, your feet were so numb, and we jump into a car that was left running so that the heat would be in there so we could unthaw. Remember, and go back in and do like another section. That's how we survived that one when we did that investigation. That was crazy.
So I'll put a question out there to the masses out there. We've never really done a live stream, and I probably should find someone who wrote a book about it or whatever. On, you know, I told you guys many moons ago. Chris is looking at me like, "What? Where's he going? What's he going to talk?
I
What?
don't know where he's
What can
going
I
with
say
it.
about this? About signs and I'm a huge believer in signs as far as not just from those who have passed, but just in general. I think the universe, because I'm so superstitious when it comes to good luck and bad luck,
Gives you breadcrumbs.
I think the universe could kind of give you hints, yeah, breadcrumbs of whether things are going to go good or bad, or that others are trying to connect with you and reach out to you. I can't tell you how many times I've thought about my mom or my sister when I'm out just walking about or whatever, or walking Walter, and I'll just think in my head, if you guys could hear me, could you show me a sign? And I always do the same thing. I look around my surroundings and I see if I see something unusual, not just like a regular thing. Like there are times where I've seen like angel figurines in windows, or a hornet will fly by, or the one time, I kid you not, and I would have never believed that if I didn't see it for myself. And yeah, it could have been a coincidence, but I'm literally doing that and thinking of my mom and asking for a sign. And I'm walking and I'm heading towards this small tree, and one blue jay flew into it. And I'm like, okay, that's another one, another one, and another one, another one, and another one. There were 5 or 6 of them.
The universe was doing exclamations.
And they were literally kind of looking down at me as I walked by, like watching me. And I was just like, wow. So we, we mentioned a friend of ours and a friend of, the community here, the group, we had mentioned Peter and Peter's passing, um, we were talking about that at the Creeper Gallery. How that particular weekend, Chris and I literally saw anywhere from 5 to 7 cardinals during our travels.
I mean, and not off
and
to the
bunches
side.
too.
It would like
This is annoying me because the captions are right there.
directly in front of us. It just literally every time you turned around, it'd be right in front of us. These cardinals, and they would be, the bright red cardinals too. That was the crazy part of it.
But that I wonder if anybody else out there.
But what about when you were driving and you saw the bumper sticker on that car when we were just about your sister? Do you remember that? We were going somewhere and that bumper sticker was a statement of something that your sister that you related to.
I don't. I
You don't
remember
remember
it,
that
but I
one?
don't remember.
Yeah, because
what
we
it
went. You
said.
go like, oh my god, that's just like it had something to do with your sister in that moment, and we were having a discussion, and it was about your sister, and then you turned, and there went that car with that bumper sticker with
Yeah,
that statement.
and again, the funny things about signs is that I think more than anything else, people are like, like the dream stuff. There, there's a way to kind of manifest like your dreams. If you go to sleep, or what did someone say? You could write something down like before you go to sleep, and you could dream about that thing and manifest it, or you could dream about a loved one if you think about them or whatever.
You're creating that connection, so to speak, to bring
In
it
theory,
in, to open it up. Yeah.
In theory, you are, but I am a big believer in signs.
Some people on here do too.
And I've had many, many, many times where I am thinking like, I'll give you an example. Our wedding is coming up on the 14th, and this is more about.
Remember when you said that, Laura?
This is more about signs and things working out. You know what I mean? Like the universe. It's so hard to rationalize because people want to attribute all the good stuff to the universe, kind of karma and setting things up in a certain way so that things work out. If this didn't happen, that wouldn't have happened. And if it wasn't for it doesn't work for the bad stuff that way, which kind of is confusing. But anyway, my sister was not going to be able to attend the wedding for some reason that I don't want to go into, and because she was traveling already the week after Mother's Day to see my nieces and nephews. She was going to be up here in Jersey. She lives in South Carolina. She was going to be up here that week. Well, things happened, and she had to reschedule things. And it turns out, and again, I completely understood her not being here for the reason she couldn't be here. But things worked out to where her husband had to come to Jersey on a certain week to do something, for his family or whatever, for his business, and that's the week of our wedding. So her rescheduling fell upon the week of the wedding. So she didn't want to travel alone. Again, I don't want to get into specifics. She didn't want to travel alone. So her husband now is going to be with her. My niece is going to be coming to the wedding, my niece Amanda. And it just worked out. And we were talking on the phone today, my sister and I, and I'm happy she's going to be there. I'm really happy. I'm happy it worked out that way. And she's a big believer in God and religion, and has a lot of faith when it comes to things are going to work out because of faith. We're not. I'll go on the side. My siblings went to Catholic school. I did. In case you didn't notice.
But that isn't what inspires faith.
But I'm not sure. They at least had a foundation of faith. I got zilch. I don't know what happened with my mom and faith by the time I came around.
Maybe with the things she was going through, she got disillusioned.
Oh yeah, maybe with the tumors and the disability. But we didn't go to church. We didn't do any of that stuff. We just religion. She never talked about religion to me. It just never ever came up. But I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. It just
Right, Tanisha.
things do kind of sometimes happen the way they're supposed to happen. And again, this was a sign for her that she should be there and she's going to be there. And again, I think my mom would really want that. I know my other sister who passed would really want that. And we really want that. It's my sister. I love my sister.
I like
So
your sister a lot.
it's again the signs and the way things happen the way they're supposed to happen. I mean, I do believe, not as much as you do, I do believe that again,
Begets
putting
positive.
positive out in the universe is a good thing. And I do think if you try to live a good life and try not to hurt people, and that hopefully the universe acknowledges that just by not doing hurt unto you, I guess the
I
way you
don't.
put it.
I don't look at it.
I don't mean forever. I just mean
No,
for the most part.
but that's not
know?
like for me. That's not why I live.
Well, I did say
Yeah, I'm positive.
You hit that
I mean,
button.
I hope that the universe smiles on me and continues the positive and like that. But I expect it? No. But in it has created where we're in this group of people.
Well, that's what Patricia just said.
Yeah, that brought in these people that are amazing, and they have no reason to be. A lot of them have going through their own stuff and whatever, and they have no reason to be. And that's I think that's what I mean by the positive gets positive is that you do draw like-minded people like you, just like negative
Well,
gets negative.
By the way, on a side note, Patricia's not allowed in the Creeper Gallery anymore. An instance that I'm kidding. I'm joking. It's a joke.
Just give her
Patricia
wooden
and
nickels.
Bring your wooden nickels.
That's all. That's all y'all need to know. Patricia takes wooden nickels.
Well, that could be true as well, Debbie. But
Yeah.
but Chris brings up a good point. My sister and I were talking about this as well, and because she follows us on social media and the things that we do, and it's literally proven. It's not something that that we just say. It's been proven again and again. The people that support us are good people,
really good people,
and
amazing people.
We would hope that that's what we put out as well. We would hope, but that's the people. We don't get the people that cause the drama and attack people and do whatever. We get the people that are just interested in the paranormal, love being around other people that are in the paranormal, and
Hi, Maria.
kind of appreciate the things that we do, and we appreciate you guys just as much. So yes, like attract like, right? That's
I think that
Hey, Maria.
the reason why we don't have in the mist those who feed on that type of negativity is because I think there's a barrier. I think that there's a barrier around those that are within our circle. And what I mean by that is that because we're the type of people we are, they're not drawn to it. It doesn't work for them. They can't feed off of it. So if you're after, let's say you need your Coke, your caffeine, and we don't provide that, you're not getting that. You're going to go seek that somewhere else. And I think that's what that comes from too. We don't attract that because we don't feed it.
Yeah.
That's the key right there, I think.
Yes, I'm amazing.
You are, Deb.
I am. Well, at least you feel that.
Hey, Linda.
Deb. That's important.
We do think you're amazing anyways, Deb. So
again, we are familiar with people. That's all you guys that are on here, the people that attend our events, and we're familiar. And the new people we meet, they become familiar as well. That's why the Anna, the girl that was at that, me, I'm horrible with names. I couldn't tell you. I know the father's name was Jason. I couldn't tell you. I'm horrible with names.
Reagan,
it just
Jason,
doesn't stick.
Anna.
Well, I don't
those are the ones that stick out.
But Anna, I remember just because of her personality and how everything. At 11 years old, she was like, "I'll do it.
She
I'll do
was
it.
she was
I'll do it.
impressive.
I'll do it." And we're talking about being in a dark mine where I thought for sure when we went pitch black, she was going to be like, "Oh, hell no." But then she says to us, "I was in the ex murder house."
And I said to her, you were in Lizzie Borden's house. She goes, yeah. And I said, how was it? She goes, no activity. And I go, and she goes, but I had a great time.
That
And I
was
go,
funny.
you did? She
That
goes,
was funny.
yeah, I was in in an axe murdering house. It
That
was
was
awesome.
That
I'm
was
like,
really funny.
wow, this girl is something else.
Yeah, that was really funny. Again, this is
You can
kind
see
of,
where her passions are.
yeah. But this is sort of again the stuff that we get to do. And again, I have a hard time saying no to people, especially that have traveled from Utah and doing stuff like that, because it really is
It was the
only
right thing to do that.
it's only that much of my time, of our
Yeah.
time. You know what I mean? But you know, you get a little older. We were talking to Donna. We were around Donna. And again, Donna, there, I'll say this 100 times over, and it's never been more appropriate from the time I've gotten to the paranormal field. Like seriously, gotten to the field where I was doing things and meeting people. I have met, and I'm not just trying to say this for the sake of saying it. I have met so many amazing people since I started in this field, and I know there's a whole nother side of this field that you guys hopefully you never see and you never become part of or
Never
get
get brushed
involved in.
by.
But there is a part that is just phenomenal as far as who these people are, and we're fortunate to meet. I tell so many people, like, I am fortunate to have met you. You know what I mean? And I feel that way. I was doing that, a lot over these last couple of weeks. It's just like, wow, you really like, and again, the more years you do this, the older you get, you think, how many more years could you go? And we're talking to Donna, and Donna's owned that store for a while, and Donna's, aging like the rest of us. And, she's saying, one day I will retire. Matter of fact, I'm in the running for the haunted objects, in the running.
Well, I don't know what you're going to do with
I'm
them.
way down the line, but I am in the running. If God forbid, knock on wood, anything ever happens to Donna. But that would be hilarious, wouldn't it be?
Oh, that's right, Heather.
Hey, listen, that kid deserved it. That kid deserved it. He learned a tough lesson that day, but it made him stronger, and it opened his mind a little. He had been lied to and deceived.
And I do have to say to Heather real quick, that card was that you got
Heather.
For us.
Thank you so much.
Was more dead on than you could possibly know. So you must have a sixth sense. You read that card.
I did.
Yeah.
But we speaking of cards, our friends Pam and Steve, it's their anniversary. Happy anniversary.
Yes,
Pam
happy
and Steve,
anniversary to both
if you
of
guys get the chance, I never know the dates, but the bash is in July, the Gettysburg Battlefield Bash. If you've never been to Gettysburg, you want to go to Gettysburg just for the paranormal stuff alone and to hang out downtown and to have a good time on the battlefield. But there's a convention for Wounded Warriors. Well, again, nonprofit. Money goes to the Wounded Warriors, the PA. We're there every year to support our friends. We're going to have a table the entire weekend.
Yeah.
We hang out afterwards. We usually wind up all going to dinner and doing whatever and hanging out. And it's a good time. If you guys can make it, I know it's towards the end of July, but you can look up Gettysburg Battlefield Bash and see the actual dates. Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
I think it's like 26th, 27th in that period, I think.
It is an awesome event, and it's run by awesome people who do a lot for wounded
for a good
warriors.
cause, really good cause.
But we'll be there. So if you guys don't have plans for late July, end of July, please consider coming out, because we do. We wind up, Cody and Tori are going to be there. John's going to be there.
Yeah,
we get to hang out all weekend. So again, go out to dinner afterwards. And again, because it's not our convention, we could have a drink or two. Speak of the devil.
Hey.
I conjured John Zappis. I literally conjured John Zappis. See how good I am? They say I'm not the paranormal savior. Look what I just did. So anyway, John will be there the entire weekend. Cody Satori will be there the entire weekend, along with many other people, lots of speakers. Just that is such a good hangout weekend. And You know, if you're into the paranormal, great. Gettysburg's a great place for it. The history, great place for it. But the people there, again, John will be there, Bob and Gina, Pam and Steve, so many other people that you're gonna have a good time. So if you can come out and support a great cause and come hang out with us.
That's a good one, Liz. Just so you know, John, my son thinks you are cool too. He said John is blunt like you, Mom. We will be at the Paruni event and a ghost walk.
Talking about me or the
Yeah,
other John?
you. Because you're
said
blunt.
What? Blunt? I don't think I'm blunt at all. I think I'm honest.
Well, what do you think blunt means? Very direct.
So, oh, you're not far from us, Deb, if you're going there. We know exactly where that is.
Yep.
What kind of natural disaster will John Zappis be bringing?
Oh my God, I was just talking about this with someone. Between the ice storms, the tornadoes. So I talked on the phone with someone, John Zappis, about you need to do a ritual as you're driving in your car.
Here's my theory.
That you don't bring anything with you.
Here's my theory on John Zappis and
Lotus.
Why not? Forget about all the cases he's done and the things that he's seen and worked on and exorcisms and all that other stuff. I think I hearken back to that story he told about the Satanists and how him and Jason Paul pulled into that town and they were hiding in the trees and kind of waiting for them. I think the Satanists knew that John was.
Is that when they were out on the roof?
Potentially bring the storm and
I
the
guess
bad weather
so, man.
with them. They picked up on that energy because, we love John. John is. I literally. It's so funny that John was here and we brought up John because I'm going through my phone and, like I said, a lot has happened in the last 3 months, 4 months that have made me really like shake my foundation as far as mortality and life and everything. And again, there's more going on that I can't go into. That's very personal and near and dear to me. That's really, really affecting me. And it's tough to deal with. But I was going through my phone, finding pictures of Chris and I through the years. And again, a lot of them, I have short hair. I mean, my hair is not short. I have the ponytail now, but I have short hair. And it's a kind of a montage through probably 4 or 5 years, 6 years, maybe more, of us all different places, all different pictures. And in that role was the very first time I met John Zappis.
Really?
I have 2 pictures. One with me, my arm around him. He was in Gettysburg.
Is that by the Farnsworth?
Yeah, he was doing a book signing. I drove all the way there by myself.
You did.
3.5 hours just to meet him. And I have a picture with my arm around him and another picture. There's 2 other people that were there and he's got his head turned and he's looking right into the camera. And I found those pictures and I was going to kind of post them again, but that's the first time I met him. Prior to that,
wow,
all I did was talk about John Zappis and what he did in his career, and then seeing him on Haunted Collector after that, and that accent of his. He's got that kind of that, like Boston-y. He doesn't have it so much anymore. He had a lot more when I met him, but now the accent isn't so much anymore. I don't know why, but it doesn't seem like it. But it's just so funny how things work out. I literally drove 3.5 hours to meet the guy because I admired him so much and I wanted to meet him. He was paranormal royalty.
You still feel that
still
way.
Is. And here I am all these years later, friends with the guy, and he's may or may not be joining us for a special day. But it's very cool. Even when I mentioned to my sister, we can put it out there now. It's no big secret. Chip Coffey is doing the ceremony. He's doing it virtually. So during our wedding, Chip will be on the big screen and he's going to do the ceremony. Again, Chip, another guy we met many, many years ago, and I'm not just name dropping here because they're celebrities. Chip is a friend. Chip is a really good guy. And my sister, when I told her about Chip, she didn't know a lot about Chip because she's not crazy into the paranormal like I am. But she went on his social media and she was just looking through his page and she said, he seems like a really good guy. I said, well, even better in real life. Yeah. The guy is.
What he did for us this earlier this year really, really just cemented how big his heart is. You
but
know,
I, I, I don't know if John will ever bring his haunted objects around me again because I got to tell you guys again. This is kind of we're retreading here.
we need to bring him back on one day so we could talk about some of this stuff.
Yeah, Chip is doing the ceremony. He won't be there physically in person, but he's doing it virtually. And the plan was he wanted to marry us. He wanted to do it last year and the year before. But
he's been bugging us for a few years to do it.
But I wasn't ready because I still was undecided about Chris whether I wanted to continue going with this thing. But you know what? Something works, you stick with it. That's my motto.
The man, we're at the doctor's office with a needle in my throat, and he says to the doctor doing the test that he had to kick the tires and make sure everything was good.
Not what I said at all.
How'd you say it?
I said when you buy a used car that has a lot of miles on it, every court show you ever watch, like Judge Judy and all those back in the day, they lose the cases because when you buy an old car and you don't have a mechanic check it out and something goes wrong with it, you don't get your money back. You buy it as is. Buyer beware. So because we're at the age we're at now and I'm finally committing to marrying, yes, I want to clean.
So
I want a mechanic to take a look and make sure everything's good for the next 10 years.
Is being pressed into my neck.
I figured you'd appreciate that.
The doctor had to, he like trying not to laugh and trying not to jerk because it was just, because that was the appropriate time to put that out there.
I just thought, he should know. And lo and behold, except for your issues, your stomach that we're still trying to work through, you're fine. Warranty long expired long time ago.
Long time ago. Yeah.
I couldn't even get one of those extended ones.
And the guy, I have to be fair to John. John had no idea, none, when he moved in with me for the first time, how quirky I really am and how much I tamp it down. This poor guy has had to adjust a lot. And I still tamp a lot of it down. Oh, I do. I don't think you can handle a real me.
I'm not touching that one with a 10-foot pole. No, any relationship, successful relationship, you have to be friends.
Oh, yeah.
And we've always been friends. Best friends. And after all these years, and I'll say it publicly, I've said it publicly a million times, and I'll say it, I love her with all my heart. As much as I did 20 years ago, 25 years ago, I love her just as much, if not more.
Yeah.
That's the truth.
I definitely, along with that love, along with the love came a lot of getting to know, like I knew a lot about John. John and I have been best friends for a long time. He was actually the individual who trained me when I first moved here to New Jersey on the job that I did. And
hey Todd, how are you?
But literally got to know so much more about him, him moving in here and really getting to see different facets that I thought that I knew him. And the more that I get to know him and the more that I see how he bleeds for everything that he does, the more respect, the more admiration, and the more I love him 100%. So not only is he my best friend, I like him. I love him. I have respect and regard for him. I mean, he's an impressive human being.
I'm laughing because she's reminded me of something. My mom. My mom wasn't a big drinker. My mom liked wine, and you always knew if you were around my mom. I know this is supposed to be paranormal talk. I apologize for you. If you guys are bored with our regular life stuff, I don't blame you if you tune out. But my mom, short Italian woman, when she had wine, it was literally truth sound. If you were within the bombing range, whatever they call that, you were gonna either get hit with some shrapnel or she was gonna tell you how much she cared about you. And I was often, when my mom was in her cup. She would come home from being with her friend Judy, and they'd go out drinking, and my mom would come home and she'd sit at the kitchen table, and I'd be there, and she'd look at me, and or we would be like at Easter or something or Christmas dinner, and she'd say, "You know what, John? I love you, and I like you," and I'd say, "That's great, Ma. Thanks." She goes, "No, lots of parents love their kids, but they don't like them. I love you and I like you." That was about the extent of my mom. My mom wasn't a very huggy, you know, person and really didn't tell you how she felt all that much. My sister and I were just talking about this today,
Yeah.
how we're not we're not real mushy either, but we're more mushy than she was. But
You're mushy with me.
with you, but my kids, you see, we
Yeah.
hug and everyone.
They're the same way.
Yeah, well, I raised them that way. But anyway, my mom was famous for that line. I love you and I like you. And I think of that all the time because,
Yeah.
it's true.
You can love someone and
can,
not like them.
exactly.
There's one. I know that 100% on that one. I think that the funniest thing that I ever heard when I met his mom, and we would bring food to her, like the food that she liked. I mean,
sausage
like really
and peppers,
liked. And she likes her food like him, piping hot. And I would
light and sweet coffee and chocolate.
I would run back and forth to the microwave constantly so that it would stay hot. And he was saying something, John Teaser, whatever, and she says to him, "She's a very patient person, John. She's an extremely patient person, John."
See, Liz called it blunt. My mother would always say, you have a very dry sense of humor. Of like, that's polite for saying that I'm making jokes or comments that are inappropriate. That's mom talk for you're probably saying things that people don't want
You might need to
hear all
filter
that
water
much.
that down a
my
bit.
mom just couldn't get that lesson.
No, your
honed
mom
all
your
that much.
mom was very I liked your mom a lot. Your mom was just like she said it how it was, how she felt. You knew exactly where you stood with her.
But again, back to the paranormal stuff. I wonder, in a general sense, and again, I'd like to get you guys' opinion on this as well. And I'm not speaking about anyone or anything in particular. I'm just making a general comment or observation here. We had talked about something like this before. Um, is it appropriate to try? Because mediums do this all the time. Is it appropriate for paranormal investigators, those who don't have mediumship abilities, to try to communicate with someone who literally just passed hours ago, a day ago, a week ago?
I don't think so.
Is it morally acceptable or is it appropriate to do? Now, the logical side of my brain says, and I've said this before, there's no difference between communicating with the spirit of someone who passed 200 years ago or 2 hours ago. If you're opening yourself up to communicating to the spirit world, those people meant something to someone back then. They had loved ones, they had families, they had people that cared about them, they lived full lives. It's just that we're so removed that it's sort of like impersonal to us. We could be almost.
And there's the key right there.
But
when someone just passes, there's a lot of emotion and a lot of things to deal with because of what you're dealing with.
Let's say it's requested of someone. Let's say hypothetically, someone were to come to you or anybody out there, if you're doing this and you're investigating or you've ever tried it, someone comes to you and says, my significant other passed, or my brother, whatever, passed yesterday. I'm thinking I'm already getting signs that they're trying to communicate.
That's different. The loved one's asking you directly.
And this is what I'm saying though. Would you come in and try to connect with them doing the methods and the things that you do? Is it morally right to do that with someone? Is it acceptable? Is it something that people should do, in your opinion?
I think if somebody asks you and you're not taking advantage of the person, and that person really wants it and needs it for whatever their reason is that you're not aware of and need to know, then it's acceptable. But this is my thing with all of this. I've seen too much of it where the intentions are not in a good way to help that person.
But I'm not talking about intention. I'm talking about purely what I said, the question that I asked.
If somebody
Deb
came and
said
asked,
she did an EVP session at her parents' graves. If someone came and asked, a friend of yours, someone here in the group, someone that you are
if
related
someone
to,
wants to contact their loved one and they're asking you,
and it just happened yesterday.
If that's what they want and that's what they need, and they're coming to you with that, then you do. But for me, there are a lot of factors. What is their state of mind? Is this going to help them? Is this going to hurt them? Send them a trajectory of not healing and not moving on and doing it in the land of the living. There are so many things. Somebody's psyche, someone's their mental well-being. Are they taking care of themselves?
Yeah,
Are they
exactly.
aware what they ask?
Exactly.
Those things all have to be
Exactly.
the person needs to be factored in on this.
Exactly.
Now, if there's someone who genuinely needs it and wants it and that will help them, and then yes. If they're coming from that place where they need it, yes. But there can't be where you just go do it and you dump whatever and you walk away. I think it needs to be, it's like anything else. Everything is a process.
Well, and
it's not a simple
Liz
answer.
And others are bringing up a point. It's an individual choice. There is no right or wrong answer
There
to that.
isn't.
And I'm not, and George said the same thing. There is no right or wrong. I'm not saying you're right for doing it. I'm not saying you're wrong for doing it. I'm just saying what are people's opinion of doing
how they feel about it.
Me personally, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't, because like you said, I'm more concerned about what are the reasons behind it psychologically, and can I do more harm than good? Or
that would be my thing.
I would advise them to wait a little bit, and then reconsider it. But if they still want it, I wouldn't blame them for that. And again, it's an individual thing.
It is.
Some people
we all process different.
Some people go to mediums the week after, 2 weeks after, because they want those messages. It's just different when it applies to people. Having you said that,
I will never forget, and this is going back several years. We did a psychic fair, and towards the end of the day, a woman showed up, and she was already a mess when she came into the door. She'd lost her husband, her brother, and her son, all within weeks of each other.
Yeah.
It was bam, bam, bam. And she wanted to connect with them. So I knew,
I appreciate it.
This one individual that I knew she had a gentle soul. I knew that she was that person that if I turned her over to her, she would know what to do. And she sat down, and again, it's a psychic fair where they're there to make money to, that's what they're doing. They're doing readings. She stopped all her readings and didn't take any more money just to talk to that woman for quite a while, then gave her her number and said, when you're ready, I will do a reading for you. But right now, all you need is for someone to talk to you, connect you, and help you deal with what you're dealing with. And that is what I mean about people looking out for the well-being of that other person.
But it's also a personal thing. Again,
but that woman was not, there was nothing about her with the tragedy of losing those 3 people, that there was nothing a psychic medium was going to do in that moment to help. And this woman, Megan, knew this is what this woman needed. Like, she instantly knew that. And if she'd gone to anyone else, like, and I'm not saying at the psychic fair, but if she'd have reached out and gone somewhere else, somebody else would have put a dollar sign on her and used her pain and suffering to just keep her coming back and coming back. And Megan just said, here, and I'm going to do this for free when you're ready. But it's not there yet.
Yeah.
I have respect for that.
Again, I equate it to, people think because we do what we do, and we do it often, that we're open to every situation and everything, and doing, just openly communicating with spirits just because it's what we do. No, we're not mediums, so we don't, not really what we do all the time. But okay, my mother and my sister were cremated. Neither one were buried. There's no grave for them. But I, if I said this 100 times before, if I ever walked up and my mother was buried somewhere and I saw a paranormal investigator by my mother's headstone, I would be mad. Yes, I would. Now, if they would have reached out to me beforehand and say, "Hey, I'm doing this. Is it okay? Do you want to join me?" Totally different story. But just going there and doing it, no, I would not be
Sure.
okay with that.
I
And it's hard to compartmentalizing that because we basically do that all the
we
time,
do.
everywhere. But it is a personal
It
case
is.
by case
So just an insight,
experience.
my daughter is cremated as well. And my daughter does give me signs every now and then that she's here, whether it be in dreams, whether it be something, signs, or there's always, I know that my daughter's around me and with me, because to me, you can't destroy love. Not those type of connections. They can't be destroyed. But would I sit down and try to communicate and do an EVP with her or do any of, no, absolutely not. And that's my personal thing. I would not do that. I'm not from, there's something about that where that wall comes up for me. I don't know why. I can't explain it, but I would not do it. And I would be highly upset and emotional. And I'd be angry if someone else tried to do that with her.
Yeah.
And that's me just being honest. If for what we do, that's me being honest. I don't want to communicate with my daughter that way. I know she's here. I know she does things. That's good.
Yeah, we've been asked to come into buildings, and I won't say where, and I won't say when, where people have died by suicides or not by their own hand, unalived, I should say. I know you can't, and you know, we always say to these places like, "Are there living family members still in this
Yeah.
town or in this area?
Yeah.
And have you checked with them?" Because we did see the newspaper articles. I mean, it really happened, but hey, you know, it didn't happen 100, 200 years ago. It was fairly 40, 50 years ish range or sooner. And it was like, hey, we can't do this because if the family members have a big problem with this, then
Didn't we find out that there was a daughter who lived
yeah,
not too
and
far
still in the
away, and
town,
we just
in the town, and
yeah.
it was just like, no, if they're okay with it, then come call us back, and
Yeah.
we'd be happy to do it. But no, I'm not going to go do that
No,
to
you
someone.
don't know what you're going to dredge up and what you're
Yeah.
going to cause for the loved ones. So yeah, there's a fine line. You do. I mean, just like in any profession, you do have to have ethics.
Well, and I always go back to the most like horrific of things. 200 years from now or 100 years from now, will Auschwitz and 9/11 area be open to ghost tours and paranormal investigators?
Very well could be.
I really think, like, with time, look, the battlefield and all that other stuff in Gettysburg, we talked about Gettysburg. Um, yes, I recently watched two different documentaries about 9/11 and all the stuff around that, and Osama bin Laden. And you see those planes going into the buildings and all the people, what happened, that were stuck on the top floors. And I think, my God, anybody could dream of going there and try it with their spirit box or whatever. That would be just so, in my opinion, so wrong, but I can understand again with the other part of my brain that that's no different than like we investigated the Jonestown doll.
Okay.
No different than the battlefield or Monmouth battlefield or the Axe murder house or anything like that.
Let's put this in perspective, because we did go see a movie and I forget what it was called, but it's
Final Destination.
No, it traumatized me about the Holocaust and
Oh, that was Zone of Interest.
oh my God, that movie, like, you want to talk about really seeing it from the other side, and it was brutal to watch.
Well,
But let's take that. What do you think about if somebody were to do that?
that's I just said Auschwitz or a place like
Yeah.
that. Yeah,
I mean,
I think
do you think that even now, over the time that it's been,
since the
that would,
40s, it's almost been 100 years. No, I think give it another 100 years. These places will be paranormal destinations. I kind of believe that.
yeah,
I think given enough time,
because so many people are they,
it'll just be
unfortunately, the
so far
more,
removed from
yeah, and
the
you get a
thing.
disconnect, and it's just history, and it's just like, and it's like, well,
It's
oh
like
yeah, my great 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 grandfather,
and
whatever, and
anybody
it's
who was
not.
alive during those days and lived it are gone. So now it's more like a story. But again, that's
At
my
least that's
opinion.
honest, Deb. Deb said if I walked up on someone doing an EVP session at my parents' or my brother's grave sites, I honestly believe I'd want to join
Again,
them.
it's an
Obviously, this
individual
is
thing.
this is theoretical. If it really happened, I can't confirm my feelings, and that's it. We don't know until
It's an
we're in the
individual
moment.
thing. I couldn't anyway. But yeah, we went around the whole spectrum tonight, and because it's been a while since we came on, and last time was at the Creeper Gallery and then on a ride home. So we thought we'd do one of these because we haven't done one in a bit where we sat down and just talked. And today is Wednesday. I doubt there will be a Creeper Gallery this week because I have a heating pad on my leg right now on my hip, and I'm feeling really sore and beat up. So I don't see that happening this week. For those of you who are doing the ghost tour, we'll see you on the ghost tour. If not, we'll probably come on Friday night just to find a subject. I'm going to try to cut some clips from the mine investigation we just did when we went up there together. There were some really good EVPs there that if I could isolate them that are, they said like you could see me. There were some weird EVPs that we got when we were there. So I'll try to cut those and hey Francis and show those on Friday night. But we'll see you then. In the meantime, thank you guys again for everything, for your support, for helping to build this community, for being part of it, for being our friends, for being there for us, for watching, for coming to our events and allowing us to do what we do. We can't, say thanks enough for being part of this journey.
Have a good night. Stay safe. Stay healthy. Always, always, no matter what, please remember to be kind to each other. It does matter, and it makes a difference.
Well, George, I'm pretty beautiful in person myself too. I mean, now I've got the hat and the I've been shaved, but I'm pretty good.
Oh, thank you, George. That's a nice thing to say.
Person myself. Come to think of it. Anyway, have a good night, everyone.
Good night.
We'll see you soon.